All right, all right. Gather around, gather around. Gather around. We're back for another one. We are back for another one. Wabbit Crime Network. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Wabbit Crime Network is here. We got another one. We got another one, y'all. I hope y'all ready. I hope y'all ready. I hope everybody is ready. Yeah, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Wabbit Crime Network. So y'all know how we do. Y'all know how we do. Want to shout out everybody. All the members, new members, returning members, everybody that subscribed, all the people that are viewing. We are well over 1,000 subs on this page. Shout out to y'all for that. And we're doing parole board hearings. Parole board hearings once again. We got a couple cases today. We got a couple cases that we're gonna do. We're gonna take care of this. We're gonna have fun and interact. Y'all know how we do. If you're new here, basically, what we do is we interact. We're gonna vote on whether or not we think the judges will grant parole in this case. We watch parole board hearings and do the breakdowns. So anybody's new, feel free to get ready to vote when it's time. We got a couple cases. I'm not sure if the case is gonna be that long because they don't seem to be that long. And hit the like button if you haven't already. All right. Welcome to Wabbit Crime Network. Yeah, we're gonna get some work done today. We're gonna get some work done. So you guys can check out the Wabbit Crime Network Discord. In the Wabbit Crime Network Discord, we got all type of crime network content over there. We got updates, we got true crime content, we have all kinds of crime content in the Discord. But for members only, people that have a membership on this Crime Network YouTube page has free access, has automatic access, I should say, to the surveillance room in the Discord where we live stream actual trials that are happening in real time. So the YSL trial is happening in real time and we stream that in the Discord. So if you want a place to go stream the live streams or watch the live streams or listen to them, the Discord is the place to be. So hopefully you guys check it out. All right. Let me grab my handy dandy notebook. Handy dandy notebook. All right, so I got my notebook because you see I'm on camera now and all that because I'm gonna be stepping up my my content. I'm gonna start looking into these cases way more and giving you details and making it more detailed so that you guys can get a full understanding of the ins and outs of the case of these individuals. Unfortunately, that won't be today. I'm still working on that, so I gotta do some research in the background. But I've been listening to the feedback of the people, and that's what we doing. Definitely gonna be doing that. So I want to shout out everybody here. Thank you everybody for being here. Shout out to the chat. Let me get this thing on the screen here. so we could be ready. Y'all get y'all voting fingers ready. Make sure y'all got your magnifying glasses and all that. Get everything ready. Because you know what we do. We have fun. We have fun. We rocking out. We rocking out. We having fun doing crime content. I actually like this content. So I hope you guys like the content as well. I'm gonna get the first case ready. Get it ready. All right. Yeah. Get y'all magnifying glasses. We got a couple cases that we're gonna go through today. All right. All right. So we got our first case. I don't know why I'm getting this graininess right now. Maybe I need to fix my lights. Just my lights. All right. That's better. Yeah, get y'all magnifying glasses. Get your glasses. All right, we got our first case. We are at the Louisiana Parole Board hearings. Inmates are up for parole, and the judges will interview the inmates, and then the judges will vote on whether or not they're going to grant parole to the inmates after the interview. So before the judges get to their vote, I will pause the video and I'll put a poll in the chat that would allow the people to vote on whether or not they think the judges will grant parole in this case. The poll will be in the chat for 3 minutes. After the 3 minutes is up, then I will end the poll and read the results, and then I will play the results of the judges and see if the audience and the judges was in line with each other. So that's how that's gonna go. Let me get my poll question ready. And don't forget to check out the We the Wabbits merch store. We the Wabbits online store. Just check out the Wabbit Crime merch. We got other stuff in there as well. So this is how it goes. So I'm going to be in the chat with everybody until it's time to come back. I'll be back when the judges are ready to vote. So we are on our first case. So let's go.
Case, but I don't know the name of it. Who is our first?
Is Terry Thomas.
Please give us your name and DOC number, sir.
Terry Thomas, 263-109.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. We have no guests for this hearing, but we're going to conduct a parole interview with you. This is a parole revocation.
Mr. Jones, yes,
Yeah.
it's a revocation.
Okay, thank you. Let me go to that. Mr. Thomas, please don't take this the wrong way, but Terry Thomas was the name of my very first girlfriend.
Wasn't Terry Lee Thomas, was it?
No, it was not.
Wasn't Terry Lee Thomas, was it?
Well, I can't find it. I mean,
Wasn't Terry Lee Thomas, was it?
well, I can't find it.
Mr. Jones, it's
Yes.
on the second to the last row in the Dropbox.
He's on the WCC docket.
Okay, that narrows it down. I got Terry Tillman.
He should be right above that.
Wait a minute, I got it. I'm sorry, finally.
Yeah.
Mr. Thomas, this is a hearing to consider the revocation of your parole. You should have in front of you a sheet for pertaining to your parole revocation. Do you see it there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you request appointed counsel at your preliminary hearing?
No, sir.
Do you request appointed counsel at your revocation hearing?
No, sir.
We are conducting a revocation hearing and you're accused of violating the conditions of your parole as follows. And I'm going to give you numbers before each one, but they're not going to start with one and end with a higher number. They just the way they fell. Number 3, you did not live at your registered address as evidenced by your apprehension in North Louisiana. You did not notify probation and parole or St. Tammany Parish Sheriff that you packed your belongings and left on or about August 31st, 2019. Mr. Thomas, if you would enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, and in either event, you'll be allowed to make a statement if you want, okay?
Right.
So as to number 3, guilty or not guilty?
I'm guilty. I was going back to where I was from. I wasn't from South Louisiana. I was from Webster Parish.
Okay. Number 4, you engaged in criminal activity numerous times. The first was when you left your registered address and failed to notify sex offender registration, which is a felony. The second was when you picked up for causing a disturbance at a gas station in Lake Charles on September 3rd, 2019. The third is your current pending charges in Minden of suspected hit and run driving and various open warrants in other parishes. Guilty or not guilty?
When was that in Lake Charles?
Uh,
I've been in jail since last September.
well, it says on September 3rd, yeah, it says you caused a disturbance in Lake Charles on September 3rd, 2019.
No, sir. I wasn't in Lake Charles. I
Okay,
came to Minden
so,
and I called her.
okay, well, you'll get to explain it, Mr. Thomas,
Okay,
but,
all right.
but right now, we're just gonna say not guilty, okay?
All right. Okay.
So, tell us, it's a pretty broad allegation. It says that you engaged in criminal activity numerous times. So let me get your comments out on one at a time, okay? It says the first was when you left your registered address and failed to notify sex offender registration. Is that what you did or not?
Yes, sir. I thought I had 3 days and I went to Minden. And when I got to Minden, I called the police department. And then I got arrested for a misdemeanor because a truck that my brother gave me, I didn't have a license on it.
Mm-hmm.
They put the parole hold on me and I've been locked up since last September.
Okay. But you say that you were not picked up for causing a disturbance at a gas station.
No, sir.
All right. You were picked up for not having a driver's
I was at Walmart in Minden. And a truck backed out and we bumped bumpers.
Yeah.
They called the police, and my brother just brought me the truck from Magnolia, Arkansas, and I didn't have tags or nothing yet. But that's where I've been living since '93. And I was coming back. I didn't have any addresses down there. I lost my home and stuff. And I was coming back to where I was from. And I notified the authorities and everything when I got back. Well, it fell on a weekend, what happened. And then I had went to Walmart. My brother gave me some money, give me some clothes. And I was going Monday to do that. And they arrested me. And then they put a parole hold on me. And I've been held since last September.
Okay. Mrs. Renatza, any questions?
So let me ask you, you said you did notify, you thought you had 3 days to make the notification and you did notify the authorities? Is that
I
what you
notified
said?
them. Yes, ma'am. I notified them in Minden Sheriff's Department and Miss Debbie Haynes at Sheriff's Department and the Minden PD.
Okay, because I don't think that the parole officer who was working your case and couldn't find any evidence that you did make that notification.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I just went right after I went down there. I didn't have a ride or nothing. I lost everything I owned in prison, my home and everything. And my brother bought me a 4-wheel drive. But like I say, it was on the weekend, so the parole officer, nobody was open. And they all know me in Minden. I mean, I've lived there since '93. And I was wanting to come back where I live because, I didn't have no way of paying nothing in South Louisiana, nothing. And I wasn't going to be able to stay where I was at. I couldn't pay. I get SSI and stuff. And I wanted to be close to the VA in Shreveport because I'm a veteran and I've got a lot of medical problems.
So you were released from South Louisiana. That's why you were in South Louisiana?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I do see you were released on July 31st, and then you're back in jail September the 10th.
Yeah. I stayed in South Louisiana for a few weeks, but I couldn't get a job. I didn't have no transportation. I didn't have nothing, no way of paying, nothing. And I had went to Social Security office to file for my Social Security, and they told me, they were kind of stalling because it had been over a year, and so the people told me if I couldn't pay, I couldn't stay there. And so I was trying to get down there and get my address in 3 days to where I live, where I've been living since 1993.
Okay, I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Roche? Mr. Roche? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Mhm.
Good morning, Mr. Thomas.
How you doing?
Good. Mr. Thomas, do you remember your preliminary hearing?
Preliminary at BDCC?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
On condition number 4, the parole officer gave you the charges on condition number 4, and you pled guilty. Let me tell you what your statement was. Mr. Thomas pled guilty to violating condition number 4. He admitted to the arrest listed on the notice of preliminary hearing. Agent Amanda Evans submitted the police report pertaining to the hit and run in Minden, Louisiana. He also admitted to the disturbance in Lake Charles, Louisiana at the gas station. During the testimony, Thomas admitted to using illegal drugs. By admitting the use of these drugs, he hoped to gain some possibilities of getting substance abuse treatment. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
So you were in Lake Charles.
But I wasn't, I don't know nothing about no gas station in Lake Charles. It must be a misunderstanding. I just don't. My brother sent me a bus ticket to get to Shreveport.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, at the preliminary hearing, you admitted to committing the disturbance in Lake Charles and using illegal drugs. Is that correct?
That's correct. May I say something?
Surely.
The lady told me that she asked me if I would, she wanted to put me in a drug program, which I took all those programs at Hunt. I took every program they had. But she said the only way she could do that would be if I said I used drugs.
Okay.
So I wasn't on any drugs.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
You're welcome.
Well, now I'm confused. Mr. Thomas, she said she could put you in a program, but in order to do that, you had to say you were using drugs, which you now
That's
say
right.
you were not. So why did you want to go in this program?
Well, I was just trying to, I was doing whatever I could do to try to get out of jail. I mean, you know, I've been locked up since 2017.
Yes, sir.
And
And-
I was,
So you
My
told her
mother-
this so that you could go to a treatment center instead of going to jail.
right. And my mother's in bad shape in Magnolia, you know, on her last leg. And I've been trying ever since I got out of prison on the 31st. Then I got locked back up, but I've been trying to get to see her, you know. And,
Mhm.
you know, it's just, that's all it is. That's, I lost all my family. My family died off since I've been in prison in 2017 in Louisiana. And I just wanted to do my parole here and then go back to Arkansas.
All right, sir. Anything else you want to tell us?
No, sir, I just hope y'all have mercy on me because I'm, you know, I've got to go to the VA and everything. The veterans, incarcerated vets came to see me, and they got a place that I can come to, you know,
Mhm.
and then they know me in Minden well. So
All right, sir.
I'm just starting all over because I lost about $240,000. I lost my home, my Harley, my truck, my car, you know, everything.
Yes, sir. Is the panel prepared to vote?
Yeah, I think the panel's ready to vote. I believe the panel is ready to vote. Let me get the timer so that we can put this. I can put it in the chat. Y'all get y'all voting fingers ready. Get your voting fingers ready. I'm starting the poll, and timer has started. The timer has started. This guy's going right back to his cell. If you ask me, he's going right back to his cell. He done forgot what he got arrested for. He admitted to lying just to get off. I don't think they want to hear that. You lied, said you was on drugs so that you get put in a drug program so that it look good on your record, so that you could possibly get off early. I don't think so. Nah. They should want the truth, but they don't want that kind of truth. That's telling them, because it's actually encouraging other people to lie. Basically, yeah, tell the truth, absolutely, but you're telling the truth about lying. You're telling the truth about lying to the system. So thanks for telling the truth, but you do know that lying to the system is kind of wrong. And we don't want you just thinking that you can go to jail, not get rehabilitated, and just take these programs just so that it could be on your record so you could get out quick. Nah, it's about rehabilitation. Like they need you. If you're in these programs, they need these programs to affect you for real and really work. They don't need you just taking it because you're trying to go home. They don't want that. They don't want that. Shout out to G Chill for the super chat. He said, love the content, bro. Shout out to you, G Chill. Shout out to G Chill. Hopefully he takes it more seriously. Yeah. Yeah. He's going back. He's going back. Hit and run. You did a hit and run, and you're a sex offender. Come on now. I don't even know what exactly he did to become a sex offender. But you see what's going on. Like, bro, you have a history of crime. You got a history of crime, brother. Yeah, we got 20 seconds. right. Now I will be in the chat until the judges are ready to vote. So I'll see y'all then.
Mrs. Renazzo, do we do the whole preliminary about Zoom and all that? I can't hear you.
If we're at a new location, we probably should, but if there's nobody participating,
Yeah.
and I don't think there is.
Okay.
Can you hear us now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. We with Evangeline Parish Sheriff's Office, and we have Brandon Freeman here.
Okay, good. Thank you. Would the people on staff there at Evangeline Parish please identify themselves?
My name is Lieutenant Barry Giglio, Giglio.
Thank you.
And we have Lieutenant Ricky Harrell as well.
All right. Thank you, Lieutenant. Mr. Freeman, my name is Keith Jones. I will chair the panel today that will make a decision on the revocation of your parole. I see that you have a guest, Ms. Fontenot, and and I will therefore
Mr. Jones,
yes,
let me introduce her real quick.
thank you.
Her name is Miss Tisha Fontenot. She's the girlfriend, and she'll be speaking on behalf of Mr. Brandon Freeman.
All right, thank you. I'm looking for my intro. I should have printed this out. There we go. All right, the Committee on Parole is called to order. Today is June 24th, 2020. The time is 9:11 a.m. My name is Keith Jones. I'll be serving as chairman. Members of the panel today are, I'll ask them to introduce themselves. First, Mrs. Renazzo.
Good morning. My name is Cheryl Renazzo.
Good morning. My name is Alvin Roche.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. The panel is currently conducting parole hearings today by Zoom technology in response to the governor's proclamation relative to COVID-19 and public hearings. We chose this platform so that it allows observation and input by the members of the public. We've already had the members of the staff there introduce themselves, as have the members of the staff of Department of Corrections. Our remote location is at Evangeline Parish. We're ready for our first case, which is Brandon Freeman. Good morning, Mr. Freeman.
Y'all doing?
Okay, would you please give us your name and DOC number, please?
Brandon Alonzo Freeman, 609-183.
Well, I'm trying to open your file, Mr. Freeman.
Sir?
I said, I'm trying to open your file here on my iPad.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Freeman, did you request appointed counsel at your preliminary hearing?
No, sir, I wasn't able to afford one.
Well, did you request appointed counsel? Let me ask you this. Can you read and write?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, under our rules, you're not allowed to appointed counsel. So do you request appointed counsel here at the revocation hearing?
Is that like a lawyer or something?
Yeah, it would be a lawyer, but you told me that you can read and write, and therefore you're not entitled to appointed counsel.
All right, I understand. I apologize.
That's okay. No, it's confusing to me, Mr. Freeman. Now, what I'm going to do is read to you some charges, and they're numbered, but they're not numbered the way you might expect, with starting 1, 2, 3. But I'm going to ask you to plead guilty or not guilty to each one. Now, you'll be allowed to make a statement whether you plead guilty or not guilty, but not guilty or guilty is what we want now. And number 4, you committed the offenses of domestic abuse, battery, and child endangerment, domestic abuse, battery, theft, simple criminal damage to property, criminal trespass, stalking, and failure to appear as evidenced by your arrest on October 1st, 2019 by the Evangeline Parish Sheriff's Office. Guilty or not guilty?
May I just ask you, like, I thought it was reduced to battery on a dating partner.
It was. I think that's right. But you were nonetheless arrested and charged with that. Is that
Oh,
correct?
yes, sir. I apologize. I'm just trying to get a full understanding.
No, don't worry. So your plea is therefore guilty because the allegations were true. Next, on January 23rd, 2020, this is what you were talking about. You pled to the charges battery of a dating partner under docket number EVN 116446F and battery on a dating partner, theft less than $1,000, simple criminal damage to property under docket EVN 114635M. You were sentenced to 6 months parish jail on each charge to run concurrent with credit for time served. And in docket 116446, the charges of criminal trespass and stalking were null prost. Guilty or not guilty?
Yes, sir.
Guilty?
Yes, sir. That's what we mean.
And the final allegation, you are currently in arrears $821 towards supervision fees.
Yes, sir.
All right, you're guilty of that. You have a comment to make about any of this?
Yes, sir. Like on April 21st, when all this occurred, me and my fiance was in an argument, and I did try pulling out the car because I didn't want to take off. I didn't want her to take off driving fast to where she'd either hurt herself or maybe hurt somebody else. So, and when the incident happened, when I was trying to pull out the car, she hit her head on the door. I said, forget it. And I turned the car off and I threw the keys on the passenger side floor and I walked to my car and I left. I wasn't trying to hurt her. Like, I was really trying to, like, prevent her from hurting herself or hurting somebody else, you know, because I know how she drives when she's mad. And the $800 that I'm in arrear, I wasn't working. I was actually in school for CPA, so I wasn't getting any income to actually really pay.
All right, thank you. Mr. Roche, any questions?
Sir?
I asked Mr. Roche if he had any questions.
Yes, I do. Good morning, Mr. Freeman. How are you?
I'm all right, and you, Mr. Usher?
Good. Mr. Freeman.
Yes, sir.
In a court of law, did you plead guilty to battery on a dating partner.
Yes, sir.
Did you know when you pleaded guilty to that charge, which is a violent misdemeanor, and is a revocable charge?
No, sir, I didn't know that.
Did you have legal counsel when you pleaded guilty?
The legal counsel actually had told me that I should go ahead on and take this charge. I didn't know much about it, Mr. Rocho.
Okay. It is a revocable offense, and you pleaded guilty to simple criminal damage of property and battery on a dating partner. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mrs. Renatza?
So, Mr. Freeman, you're saying that you didn't mean to hurt Ms. Fontenot.
No, ma'am.
And
That was
it was
my-
just an effort to keep her safe, right?
Yes,
So the information that was provided to me in the report indicates that you threatened her throughout. I don't know if it was the evening, but she got several threats from you throughout the night, and that you broke the passenger door. You did attempt to pull her out the vehicle. You said that. Brandon ripped her clothes and hit her head against the door before fleeing the scene with her cell phone, and that she did sustain some lacerations. Comment on that.
like we was in an argument, and I did say some things that I didn't have any intentions of doing. It was just an argument, you know. And like I said, when the incident happened, when I went to the car to open the passenger door, the door was locked. So I went around to the other side and I said, no, you're not driving, like, don't leave. And I was trying to pull her out the car because I didn't want her to take off driving fast and maybe hurt herself or hurt somebody else. Because when we argue, it's like she takes off driving and she leaves really fast. And it scares me sometimes, you know. And when the incident happened and she hit her head on the car, I stopped trying to pull out the car and I just turned the car off and I threw the keys on the passenger floorboard and I grabbed her. I thought it was my phone on top of the car, but I grabbed the phone off top of the car and I went to my car and I left.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
I apologize to the board for my actions. Like, I'm really sorry. Like, I really wasn't trying to hurt anybody.
Yes, sir. You have a guest in support, Tisha Fontenot. Ms. Fontenot, are you there?
Yes, sir.
What would you like to tell us?
Well, I mean, first of all, I love Brandon very much. We've been together for a long time, and we were together whenever he got arrested. And we had worked through our problems, which we had quite a bit of. You know, we had some communication issues and some trust issues, obviously. But the night we're talking about, whatever, it was really blown out of proportion. Brandon has never really hit me, hurt me like that. Like, we're both kind of extreme whenever we're arguing, and it does get blown out of control sometimes, but he's never tried to really hurt me. He never has really hurt me. And I was just upset and I guess made it out to be more than it was in the heat of the moment. And the doorknob on the car, that's all it was. I mean, that's nothing. And he fixed that. And then the phone, I have my phone. Like, I got the phone back from him. You know, and then they have the child endangerment. My children were never, ever in danger of Brandon. Like, my children are ready for him to come home. Like, we have a bunch of kids together and they're ready for him to come home and be a daddy again.
Yes, ma'am. If I may ask, who called the police?
I did, on my daughter's phone.
And the charges were based on what the police told them, correct? I mean, what you told the police.
Yeah.
All right. Any board members have any questions for Ms. Fontenot? Mr. Freeman, you have anything to tell us before we vote?
Yes, I would just like to apologize to the board and ask the board if they can find it in the heart to give me an opportunity to go out there and meet my family and raise our kids together. You know, like, I'm really sorry for my actions, and I promise to catch up with my rears. Like, y'all won't have any problem with me on parole anymore. Like, I've learned from my mistakes, and I want to be a better person. I'm just asking if y'all can find it in your heart to give me that opportunity.
Also, he does have a job lined up and a vehicle ready and a place to come home to. So,
All right, thank you. Is the panel prepared to vote?
Yes.
Boy, Alvin can't wait. Alvin can't wait to vote, man. Alvin, like, yes, I'm ready to vote. Right, let me vote now. All right, let me put the poll in the chat. All right, guys, get y'all votes in. Will this man get his parole revoked? Will they grant him? Would they let him go home or not? I'm gonna say no. No, cause he so he was trying to save her from herself by dragging her out the car, causing her to hit her head, and then he flees the scene. Yeah, man. Okay. Okay. That's the best story you could think of. And then come to find out he broke the passenger side door. Like, you broke the passenger side door. Well, how you managed to do that? You broke the passenger side door, really? All right, sir. You did that trying to save her? Okay. And you hear she's now speaking up for him. Too many times, women have to call the police and file a complaint and then take it back because they forgive the guy and they're ready to be back together with him. So now they gotta try to undo the charges. But in the moment, that guy did that. I mean, it's unfortunate that some women will actually lie on some men, but I mean, she had lacerations and everything. And it seemed like it's a common theme for them to actually plead guilty to these charges and then say that the lawyer told them to plead guilty. And I'm to the point now where I'm starting to believe some of these guys. I'm thinking that the lawyers, these public defenders, are telling these guys to plead guilty. I'm starting to believe that. I might be wrong, but I'm hearing it way too much. I'm starting to think that they at least told one of these guys that. All right, well, we got 20 seconds left. All right. We're on to our next case.
Good morning, you Mr. Clarkson?
Yes, sir.
All right. The Committee on Parole is called to order. Today is June 24th, 2020. The time is 9:31 a.m. My name is Keith Jones. I'll be serving as chairman today. Members of the panel today are Ms. Roche.
Good morning. My name is Alvin Roche.
Good morning.
And good morning. My name is Cheryl Renatza.
Good morning.
Mrs. Renatza's signal's not coming through, but the name was Cheryl Renatza. We are currently conducting parole hearings today by Zoom technology in response to the governor's proclamation relative to COVID-19 and public hearings. We chose this platform so that it allows observation and input by the members of the public. Support staff located at DOC headquarters have already identified themselves. Remote location is at Calcasieu Correctional. Would the staff at Calcasieu Correctional please identify themselves?
He's coming.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
Identify yourself, please, sir.
Deputy Ryan Laverne.
Thank you, Deputy. Today, Mr. Clarkson, you are here for a parole revocation hearing. I'm going to refer to the form. Do you have a form in front of you that has your signature on it?
No, sir.
All right. Deputy, there's a revocation form that Mr. Clarkson signed at a preliminary hearing that he needs to have in front of him.
You got a copy? Okay, he got a copy of it. He's going to get real quick.
Okay. What's this guy's first name again?
Jeremy.
Jeremy, thank you.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
I was about to share it on the screen, but if Calcasieu has the questionnaire.
Okay.
I have it present now.
Okay, good. One moment. Here we are. So on that form, is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Clarkson, did you request appointed counsel at your preliminary hearing?
No, sir.
Do you request appointed counsel now?
No, sir.
I'm going to read some charges, Mr. Clarkson, and ask you to plead guilty or not guilty to them. After we're done with that, you can offer a statement as to any or all of them if you choose. Then we will conduct a short interview. The first charge, which is numbered 4, you were arrested by Lake Charles Police on July 14, 2019 for possession of synthetic marijuana and criminal trespass. You were convicted of possession of synthetic marijuana on August 15, 2019 in docket CLC 17889-19. The criminal trespassing charge was dismissed at the same time. Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty. I'm guilty.
All right. The next charge, curiously also numbered 4, is you were also charged with domestic abuse battery by Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Office on April 12, 2019. On March 5th, 2020, you pled guilty to the amended charge of disturbing the peace by fighting and were sentenced to time served. Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Number 10, you are $874 in arrears towards supervision fees.
Guilty.
All right. You have a statement to make as to any of these?
Yes, sir. I admit I messed up. I've been down 11 months and 10 days. I think I paid my due to society. I got a job when I get out. I got a family I need to support. I was just wanting to know if y'all could take that in consideration and reinstate my parole.
Do you have any questions, Mr. Roche?
Yes, I do, Mr. Jones. Thank you. Good morning, Jeremy. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning.
Good. At the time that you were arrested, were you on probation or parole?
Yes, sir. I was on parole.
So you were not on judge's probation. You were actually on parole, had been incarcerated and paroled, good time parole. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that was a chance to do what's right.
Yes, sir.
And the parole board or DLC gave you an opportunity after you served a little time to do what's right. And then you admitted at the preliminary hearing that you were using synthetic marijuana. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How many children do you have?
None. I got my grandmother and my mom, my support.
So that's the family you have to take care of.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
My mother's disabled, so is my grandmother.
Okay. So you were aware of the situation that your mother and your grandmother was in, and you would use mojo, not knowing exactly the contents of this illegal drug, jeopardizing your life. Because I've read and heard about many individuals who tried mojo who didn't survive.
Yes.
Because simply you never know what's in mojo, do you?
No, sir. It's poison. I know that.
Okay. So basically you admitted to violating your probation. You pled guilty to a violent misdemeanor, which is disturbing the peace by fighting. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So basically you had an opportunity to do what's right, and now you're asking for another opportunity. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
But I think you need some.
I've had plenty of time to think about it, and I want to go do the right thing this time.
But I think you need some formal and professional rehabilitation. And the only place you're going to get that is at DOC. Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mrs. Renatza?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Mr. Clarkson, you have anything else to tell us before we vote?
No, sir.
All right, I will, is the panel prepared to vote?
Yes.
Man, the panel's prepared to vote. Yes. The panel. All right, the panel is prepared to vote, y'all. I'm about to put the poll in the chat. We get the timer ready. All right. Put the poll in the chat. What y'all think? Will the judges grant parole in this case? No. No. If you ask me, nah. So I can explain it better, but it takes. Yeah, get your votes in. I ain't got much to say about this because I was listening to him and I tuned out. He served enough already. They always say that. And I think that's like the craziest thing to say. Like, I think I did my time. No. You got to say that after you finish doing all your time and then now you out in society. That's when you be like, well, I did my time. That's the people that can say that. You know what I mean? The people that spent the maximum amount of time and now they got released because they finished their time. Not the people that's trying to be released early. Talking about I did enough time. I think I served enough time. Enough time means your whole sentence, sir, ma'am. Your logic is crazy. Crazy. Anyhow you get anything less than what they gave you, it is an opportunity. So I think you should say, I deserve an opportunity. I deserve an opportunity. Don't say, I served my time. Oh, nah. Not if you ain't finished your sentence. Nope. So, yeah, a lot of these guys, they... he ready to get back to his family. A couple of them say that stuff, and my family needs me. And like, that's the wrong answer. You know why? Because that's what you're supposed to think about before you went to jail. Like, what you went to jail because you didn't do a crime? Because I'm sure, you know, some things cross your mind when you're doing a crime. You ain't think about, damn, you know, if I get caught, like, those wasn't options while you was... And if you wasn't thinking about that, maybe you need some of them programs. Some of them programs. Maybe you need to take one or two of them anger management programs in there, you know what I mean? All right, we got 20 seconds left to vote. Get y'all votes in. Get y'all. All right. Time is up. Ended the poll. Poll is ended. Will the judges grant parole in this case? We got 14 votes. 92% said no and 7% said yes. Well, that's one person that said yes. So the majority, pretty much everyone else thinks that the judges will say no. So let's see what the judges have to say. Judges?
Mr. Roche.
Mr. Clarkson, based on your guilty plea of using synthetic marijuana while on supervision, you pled guilty to condition number 4, and also you pled guilty to disturbing the peace by fighting. My decision is to revoke your supervision.
Mrs. Renatza?
My vote also is to revoke based on violating condition number 4.
Mr. Jones.
Thank you. And
Did
I'm sorry?
Ms. Dolores?
Another speak yet?
I'm sorry, I missed that. You broke up.
Did Miss Dolores speak yet? She's the mother of the...
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even see her there. Forgive me, ma'am. Let me, what would you like to say in support of Mr. Clarkson?
Okay, my name is Dolores Littonow, and I am Jeremy's mother. Jeremy is the only child that I have living. He lost his brother in 2005 to suicide. And this past time, Jeremy did 5 years and he got out. The situation at home was not good. I was homeless. He was homeless. Therefore, I did have a girlfriend let me stay there, but she lives with her mother. Jeremy was on the street. And on the streets, that's the kind of night that's all they do. They beat him. 12 people that was homeless at Abraham's Tent is a place where the homeless eat, jumped him. And before that, 2 black guys jumped him and broke his ribs with a lock or something. I don't know. All I know is Jeremy got a ride to my mother's. My mother brought him to the hospital. She kept him there in DeRidder for 2 weeks so he could recuperate. He had got a little job doing yard work with this man, this little company this man had. And then my mom thought he was messed up, so she put him out. He went back to Lake Charles to the streets. When he went to eat, 12 people jumped him because they said he was working with the law. And I mean, I couldn't, as a mother, you know, how do you think I felt? I couldn't do anything. I was on the list. I am in housing at the present time in South Louisiana, but I had to wait, you know, for my name to come up on the list to be able to get an apartment. So, I mean, there was nothing I could do. While Jeremy was out there on the streets, he cut his throat from ear to ear because of mojo, you know, but everybody on the streets or zombies are all on mojo, crack and mojo, which I don't believe he was doing the crack. Honestly, I really don't know. But I know one time he called me to come get him, to bring him to take a bath, and he was acting so weird. I knew something was wrong with him. You know, I'd never seen him like that. But the girlfriend he had that they were fighting, that was one of them charges, she was doing all kind of drugs, and she called and told me he was in Lake Charles Memorial because he tried to slice his throat. He tried to kill himself. You know, so, but I am presently going to Water's Edge Church in Lake Charles, and Pastor Tony has a really good program on Tuesdays. It's for anybody with any kind of addiction. It don't matter if it's drugs, sex, food, any kind of addiction. You know, everybody goes there. If you want to speak in the meeting, you can. If you want one-on-one, they offer that also. And he has been to Water's Edge with me, you know, before I sold my trailer, before I was homeless, and, you know, he was homeless. He was homeless, and I was homeless whenever he come out the last time. You know, but I had to sell it because I didn't have money to put into my trailer. You know, and it just, I needed money, I needed a vehicle, so I was able to buy a car. But I am right now in an apartment away from Lake Charles, and I've already discussed with Jeremy. You know, it's people, places, and things. Cannot hang with nobody. If you come home the first time I see him talking to anybody, that's it. And the parole officer in Leesville, he can back me up. I called him when I lived in DeRidder and told him I thought Jeremy was on that mojo. You know, because I'm not going to put up with it. I've already lost one son. I almost lost this son. And he's all I have. And I'm struggling right now because I have car note, insurance, rent, electric, gas. And my mother's in no shape to keep helping me. You know, I clean houses on the side when I can. But the virus really messed that up. You know, nobody wants their houses clean right now. So I am really, really, really struggling. And then I had a bad, my ex-husband was with me for a little while though, when Jeremy did the 5 years. So it's been really hard on Jeremy. And I'm an ex-addict myself, so I know how things that trigger you, you know, but living on the street life, you know, that's every one of them are like that. And the Lake Charles City Police are trying to control it, but I mean, they don't have control of people. Every one of them's out there on drugs, but they go eat at Abraham's Tent. They hustle money for the mojo and they eat at the fruit bin. You know, I agree Jeremy does need some kind of, you know, NA or like this program at Water's Edge, but actually DOC, he has done time since he has been 17 years old. You know, he don't have a father. His father's locked up for life in Angola. All he has is me, and he's all I got. And I need him. I really need him home to be able to go to work and help me. And I have a home for him to come home to now.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Thank you, ma'am, very much.
You're welcome.
As to the issue of Mr. Clarkson being on the street and everybody on the street uses drugs, I'm pretty sure that you don't use drugs because you're on the street. You wind up on the street because you're using drugs.
Well, he didn't have nowhere to sleep. You know, I mean, he was just right there along with all of them.
Yes, ma'am. And Mr. Clarkson makes no excuses for himself, which is a wise decision. And he has come to learn that he's old enough to face responsibility when he does the wrong thing. So my vote, unfortunately, is the same as my colleague. My vote is to revoke your parole, Mr. Clarkson. It has been revoked. Good luck to you, sir.
Cheryl, you are something else, girl. Cheryl is something else. Yo, okay, Cheryl was making them faces. Y'all saw Cheryl? Cheryl was making those faces. Cheryl was looking like, man, lady, we already voted. We were supposed to listen to you before we voted, but we already started to vote. I can't take back my vote anyway. So, man, Cheryl was not trying to hear it. Let me cue up the next one.
Thank you.
All right. All right. That was an interesting one. All right. We're on to our next one. On to our other one. If you don't know what we're doing here, let me let you guys know how you can participate. And check out the Wabbit Crime Network Discord, where we stream live trials of courtroom trials that's going on live during the week. If you have a membership on this channel, you have access to those rooms that are streaming the live trials. Other than that, you have free access to all the rest of the rooms if you just join the Discord without being a member on this channel. Get all the Wabbit crime information updates and true crime information and updates, cold case files, all that kind of stuff over there. And check out the Wabbit Crime Network merch at the Wabbit store. All right, so inmate is up for parole. The judges are going to interview him and then decide whether or not they're going to grant parole. They're going to vote. Before the judges vote, I will put a poll in the chat that allows the people to vote on whether or not they think the judges will grant parole in this case. The poll will be in the chat for 3 minutes, and then I will end the poll and read the results, and then I'll play the judges' results and see if the chat and the judges were in line. Until then, I will be in the chat with everyone else, congregating in the chat, and I'll be back when the judges are ready to vote. So we're on to our next case.
Morning, everyone.
morning.
Means the cross.
Pronounce it, please.
Mr. Jones, this is the case for Jason Lacroy, DOC number 385790. We have no other participants here.
Thank you. You pronounce it Lacroy?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Lacroy. Yes, sir.
Do you have a parole revocation questionnaire in front of you?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right. On the questions, did you request appointed counsel at your preliminary hearing?
No, sir.
All right. Do you request appointed counsel here?
No, sir.
Now, Mr. Lacroy, I'm going to read the allegations against you, which you have before you, and ask you to plead guilty or not guilty. After we go through all of them, you'll be allowed to make a statement as to any or all of them. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. And they're numbered, but don't begin with number one. So number two, you failed to report to the probation and parole office after your release from jail in October 2018. Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty. I went the first time.
All right. Number three, you absconded supervision and did not provide a valid address to your parole office.
Guilty.
Number four, you absconded supervision and your whereabouts were unknown until your arrest on September 20th, 2019 for simple battery and resisting an officer by Lake Charles Police Department.
Guilty, sir.
On October 8th, 2019, you pled guilty to simple battery in CLC 21827-19 and were sentenced to credit for time served in parish jail. The resisting an officer charge was dismissed. Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Number seven, you absconded supervision, making all inquiries impossible.
Yes, sir. Guilty.
9, you absconded supervision. Well, that's making all field visits impossible.
Yes, sir. Guilty.
It's the same allegation. And finally, you are $695 in arrears in supervision fees.
Yes, sir. I'm guilty.
All right. So what would you like to tell us, Mr. Lacroy?
Well, I know it ain't really no excuses, but when I was released from prison this last time, I was released on a Friday. Well, I was released to my brother's address, and so he come and picked me up from prison that day on a Friday, and then I stayed with him overnight. And well, the next day, he had to go to work. His wife didn't really agree with me staying there while he wasn't there and stuff. She didn't feel comfortable, me and her being there together while he wasn't there, and which I really didn't either. and so she made the statement that she wanted me to leave or whatever. And so to keep the problems down and keep from causing any problems between them, I just asked him to bring me to a motel. And so he brought me to the motel, and which when I was released from prison, I had had $3,800 that I had worked for at work release. Mm-hmm. And so I had a little money. And so he brought me to a motel. Well, and I rented the motel for a week. So that Monday, it was on the weekend when he brought me. So that Monday, when I talked to, I called my parole officer and I talked to her, and I let her know. I said, look, but I did go report that Friday. The Friday that I got out, I went and reported to her and told her that I was going to be staying at my brother's address. Well, that weekend, he brought me to the motel. So Monday morning, I called her and I let her know that I was going to be, that what the deal was at my brother's house. And she was like, well, you can't be living at a motel room. You got to have a stable address and this and that. And I said, yes, ma'am. I said, I'm in the process of looking for an apartment right now. I said, I've got the money to rent a place. I just got to find me a place. And I'm just staying at the motel for the time being. And she said, well, okay. She said, well, as soon as you find the apartment, you get moved into the apartment, you let me know. So I said, yes, ma'am. And so that next day, the Tuesday, I looked for an apartment all day. I wasn't able to find anything. And then Wednesday came around, and I talked to this lady at an apartment complex, and she said, well, she said, I don't have anything available. She says, but I have a couple that's moving out Saturday that they couldn't pay the rent, and they're moving out Saturday. And she's like, if you want to come back Saturday, we can, if you got the money, she said, we can fill out the paperwork and stuff. And she said, you can pay your deposit and your first month's rent, and I can get you moved into the apartment. And I said, yes, ma'am. I said, that'll be fine. I said, that'll be perfect. She said, okay, we'll come back Saturday, and we'll do the paperwork and everything. And so I said, yes, ma'am. Well, so that was on a Wednesday. Well, so the next day, Thursday morning, I called my parole officer and I let her know. I said, look, I said, I found me an apartment to rent. I gave her the name of the apartments and everything. And I said, I'm supposed to go Saturday and fill out the paperwork and stuff and get moved into this apartment. And she says, okay. So she said, well, look, I'm tired of messing with you. She said, so if this is where you're going to be, she said, if I come by there Monday or Tuesday, is this where you're going to be at? And I said, yes, ma'am. And so she said, well, if you're not there when I come to check on you Monday or Tuesday, she said, don't even call me with no excuses, because I'm going to lock you up. And I said, yes, ma'am. I said, that's fine. I said, that's where I'll be. And so sure enough, Saturday came around. I went down there to the apartments to do the paperwork and pay my deposit and rent. And the woman says, well, I'm sorry to tell you. She says, but the people that were supposed to be moving out, they came up with the rent money and they're going to be keeping their apartment. So she said, I'm sorry, but I don't have anything available now. I said, man, I said, well, there ain't no other apartment you got available that I could, move into. And she's like, no, I'm sorry, sir. She said, but if you want to leave your name and number, I can, as soon as something comes available, I can contact you or whatever. And I said, yes, ma'am. I said, that's all right. I said, and so I said, man, I said, well, now my parole officer done told me if I wasn't there when she come Monday or Tuesday, to not even call with any excuses, because she was going to lock me up. So I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to go back to jail. So I came down to Lake Charles. That was in Shreveport where that happened at. So I came down to Lake Charles and started working. And I got me a little apartment down here, and and I just been down here working in Lake Charles.
Did you tell your parole officer where you were living?
No, sir, because she told me not to call with any excuses, because she said she didn't want to hear any excuses that she was going to lock me up. And so I didn't call her with no excuses like she told me. And I came down here, started working, and got me a little apartment. And I wanted to make it right and pay because I was making good money, and I wanted to make it right and start paying my fees and get back on track but I just didn't know how to go about doing it. And so I didn't know what to do. I just kept working until, I ended up coming to jail about 11 months later. But
for simple battery on a police officer, was that it?
No, sir. It was a guy. Some guy I didn't even know. I was riding around with this girl I'd met, and she said, look, let's go over to my friend's house. So we was over to her friend's house. It was a guy and a woman that lived there together. They was girlfriend and boyfriend or whatever. And I didn't even know them. I went over there with her, and they was drinking Crown Royal and 7-Up. And so I get over there. I don't really drink, I never have. Right. But I was over there with them, and he was already kind of tipsy. Well, I was sitting there on their couch. I just met him. I was sitting there on their couch, and I'm just sitting there, and they got music playing. So I was just sitting there kind of singing along to the music. Well, he was already tipsy on that whiskey. And,
Mr. Lacroy, stop.
Yes, sir.
We don't have all day to listen to every word of every conversation you've ever had with anyone.
Yes, sir.
Please just get to the heart of the matter.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember what the question was?
To make a long story short, he popped me in the eye while I was sitting on the couch. He thought I was mouthing something to his wife or his girlfriend, and which I really wasn't. I was just singing along to the music. Well, he popped me in the eye, and then so everybody started. He had a couple guys over there with him.
How did you get arrested for getting popped in the eye?
So whenever I got up, they tell me to get out of their house. So I left out of their apartment. They arrested me because I was on their property, and that's pretty much how I'm the one that went to jail, because I was on their property when the police showed up. Because I was trying to get my phone back out of the house. I left my phone laying on their couch whenever they made me leave out of the apartment after he popped me in the eye. And I was trying to tell them to let me get my phone and I'm gonna leave. But by the time the police pulled up, I was still trying to get my phone outside of their.
All right, all right.
And so they brought me to jail because
All right.
on their property.
Is that everything you wanted to say to us? To explain your pleas?
Well, I mean, I just want to ask y'all if y'all could please give me another chance. I apologize for what I did wrong, and I mean, I've got a good job waiting on me when I get out and down here in Lake Charles, and I want to try to get my, I was doing good before I came to jail. I just didn't know how to make it right with y'all, as far as getting back paying my fees and stuff. And I was ask y'all for please give me another chance. I've been in jail over 9 months. I've had plenty of time to think about it. I was please ask for y'all's forgiveness and another chance, if y'all will.
Mrs. Renazzi, do you have any questions?
No, sir, I do not.
Mr. Roche?
I have no questions.
All right. Anything else you'd like to say to us before we vote, Mr. Lacroy?
No, sir, I don't guess so.
All right. Mrs. Renazzi?
All right. Mrs. Renazzi? Oh, man. Y'all. Sometimes I gotta laugh. Yo, y'all hear this? He had a whole story. I wasn't trying to hear it. Keith Jones is getting annoyed. All right, let me put this thing in the chat. Let me put the timer. Get the timer ready. All right. Will the judges grant parole in this case? The timer is started. Get your votes in. Get your votes in. All right. He had this whole story, man, and his brother's girlfriend don't want him in the same place with her. She's not comfortable. Like, yeah, you probably a creep. You probably make people uncomfortable for real. I don't know. It sound like these stories. So you just sitting on the couch singing along to a song and get punched in the face and then get arrested for it on top of that? God, I don't know. Yeah, word salad. Word salad. His stories don't sound that bad off. Listen to me. These sound like those stories like he sound like a storyteller. He sound like he always have a story. It's like you could just always expect a story. It just sound like that, the way he talk. Like, he sound like one of them guys that always got a story, man. Like, I bet you he's one of those guys that be like, let me explain. You catch him right in the action and he'd be like, let me explain. He'd be like, you don't really need to explain, man. I saw you. I saw you, man. So, but we'll see what the judges got to say about that. Y'all get y'all votes in. Let's see if you guys and the judges. Yeah, he looked like he looked like life is rough out there. But when people don't want you around, like, I don't know. When people don't want you around, you might have some ways and some behaviors about you that might not be so nice. So we'll see. You got a reason? All right, well, we're coming up on the 20-second mark. So get y'all votes in. All right, now time to start the next case, and I'll be in the chat.
Good morning.
We're at David Wade. So
Teresa accidentally.
I'm sorry. Teresa, could you do that again, please?
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Jones, can we
Yes.
please start the preliminary? We are at David Wade.
All right. The Committee on Parole is called to order. Today is June 24th, 2020. The time is 10:22 a.m. My name is Keith Jones. I'll be serving as chairman today. Members of the panel today are.
Good morning. My name is Cheryl Renatza.
Good morning. My name is Alvin Roche.
Thank you. The panel is currently conducting parole hearings today by Zoom technology in response to the governor's proclamation relative to COVID-19 and public hearings. We chose this platform so it allows observation and input by the members of the public. Our remote location is at David Wade Correctional. Would the staff at David Wade please introduce themselves?
Warren Goodwin.
Brenda Ackland, Warren Ackland, Andrew Lawson, Crystal Seymour, Grace Rowley,
Carl Stockock.
Debbie Williams.
Lieutenant Leary. That's it.
Okay, thank you. We are ready for our first case. Mr. Terrence Johnson, could you give us your name and DOC number, please?
Terrence Johnson, 462873.
Mr. Jones?
Yes. Oh, yeah, the guest. Thank you.
Yes, sir. We have Miss Morticia Brown. She's the sister-in-law, and she'll be speaking in behalf of Terrence Johnson in support. We have Alfred McLeod, who's the uncle, and he will not be speaking, but he is here in support. We also have Miss Aisha Johnson, who is the sister, and she's also in support.
All right, thank you. Mr. Johnson, as you heard, my name is Keith Jones, and I'm with Mrs. Renatza and Mr. Roche, and we're conducting this Zoom hearing to consider your parole. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to read some information into the record and confirm with you that it is correct. After that, we will conduct a parole interview. In the end, or after that, we perhaps will ask Warden Goodwin for input, and we will hear from your supporters. In the end, you'll be allowed to make a statement before we vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
We have Terrence Lynn Johnson, DOC 462873. He is a 43-year-old third offender, serving time for distribution of Schedule II cocaine. His sentence he is serving is 40 years, 2 years without parole, probation or suspension of sentence. Parole date is February 9th, 2020. Good time date is November 11th, 2049. Full term date is February 10th, 2050. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
If you would answer Mr. Roche's questions, please.
Good morning, Mr. Johnson. How are you?
I'm all right. Good morning to you also.
Good. Mr. Johnson, you're currently 44 years old. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've served about 10 years on a 40-year sentence. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay, let's get the federal retainer out the way. What is the federal retainer for, and how much time do you have left to serve at the Bureau of Prisons?
That was a previous charge I had before this charge, and they ran the 18 months concurrent with the sentence what I'm serving now. So it's complete.
So you fulfilled that sentence?
Yes, sir.
So they was gracious enough to run the concurrent with your present sentence?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I see where you've earned only 165 days good time in 10 years. You've just completed Thinking for a Change this month and earned 75 days good credit. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Tell me about the other 90 days. What programs did you complete?
Excuse me?
What other programs did you complete besides Thinking for a Change?
AANA, 12 steps, and my GED.
Okay, so you've not taken any substance abuse?
No, sir, but I'm on the backlog list.
On a backlog list for which program?
I have it in my little tablet.
Is it Living in Balance, Celebrate Recovery?
Yes, sir. I filled out for all of it.
Okay. Have you had any anger management?
No, sir.
Have you had anything to do with getting a more disciplined life?
I couldn't
check. You don't follow rules. You don't follow rules at all. I'm just gonna run through your rap sheet, and I was surprised at the amount of times you've been arrested. Your first arrest was in 1995. It was a drug arrest for possession of Schedule 2. And then again, the same day, you were arrested for unauthorized entry to the inhabited dwelling. Then armed robbery in Shreveport, possession with the intent to distribute in 97 in Shreveport, driving with no license, running a red light, driving no license, loud music, driving without headlights. You just don't follow rules and regulations. Nothing major, but you don't follow rules and regulations. Tell me why.
Sir, I was young at the time, and a lot of that stuff on there, it had nothing to do with me. It was, just got caught up with other guys and didn't know anything about getting it expunged off my record. And,
Okay. So in 2000, you were 24 years old. And why were you switching license plates on vehicles?
Again, I was dating this chick, and I ended up, she put the different license plate on there, and when I got pulled over, I had insurance and everything else, so I didn't switch no tag or nothing like that.
But you were arrested for it. But you were arrested for it.
Yes, sir.
Again in 2003, switching license plates 3 years later. Disturbing the peace, principle of second-degree murder, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. It goes on and on and on. I just don't understand why you don't conform with society's rules. Okay, let's go back to the interview. Tell me about your disciplinary issues. How many disciplinary write-ups have you had in 10 years?
I might have had 2.
And your last one was in March of 17?
Yes, sir.
And what was that for?
I was working in the laundry and something happened with the clothes catching on fire and everybody that was on the dryers got locked up.
Okay. What's your job at David Wade?
Crew 30, landscaper basically. Yard.
You take care of the landscaping around the facility.
Yes, sir.
Are you a trustee?
No, sir. Just have my honor card.
Okay. And I'll cover that later. And I see that you have an approved ICOT to Mansfield, Texas. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
And who you gonna live with in Mansfield, Texas?
My uncle, Alpha Joe McLeod.
Okay. Warden Goodwin.
Yes, sir.
I need some assistance on this one. Can you give us a summary or review of his behavior and how he has performed at David Wade?
He came to us in early 2018 as administrative transfer from Rayburn Correctional Center, and so he's been here 2.5 years. He hadn't had any disciplinary reports at this institution. He's adjusted very well. He works on the yard crew, like he mentioned. He does have an honor card. He completed his high school diploma since he's been here, and he did complete the Thinking for a Change. But one of the issues he has is that great amount of time he has. We kind of prioritize our admissions into some of these programs, so that's why he may be on the waiting list in some of the programs, because we got guys with less time than him that we put at the top of the list. But he hasn't been any problems here whatsoever. Mr. Roche, he's done well here. He does have an honor card. He's not a trustee because of the full-term date and the fact that he's a habitual offender. He doesn't earn the good time. So his earliest release date right now is calculated 2049 absent his parole date. But he hadn't been any problems with this institution. He's been a model citizen and a model prisoner here.
Warden Goodwin.
Yes, sir.
If he would be granted today, would he move to the top of the list for substance abuse and anger management?
I guess that would depend on when the certificate was issued. If you wanted him to complete those programs before you issued the certificate, he would certainly move to the top of the list.
Yes.
We would get him in those programs and the reentry program prior to the certificate being issued.
Can an offender finish all 3 of those programs in 9 months?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Warden Goodwin.
Okay.
What, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, sir.
I am really up in the air right now. You've only served 25% of your sentence. You're lacking programs, but you got your GED. You have vocational training. You have an approved ICOT. You have a low risk assessment. There's pros and cons. The entire legal community is opposed to your early release. I haven't made a decision now. I will listen to my colleagues and then I'll make a decision. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mrs. Renatza.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. So Warden Goodwin, those programs, is your facility still having those programs are still active?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Okay.
We do the abbreviated number of participants and things, social distancing and things like that, but we are still running programs.
Good. That's good to know. So, Mr. Johnson, when you go to Texas with your Uncle Alfred, how are you going to support yourself if that should happen?
I'm going to get my Class A CDLs and start a trucking, high shot trucking, and gonna haul freight and just, get involved in the trucking industry.
Do you have a vehicle to do the hot shot with?
I'm gonna start it. They got a place called Rail, and it's on the job training.
And they provide the vehicle for you?
Yes, sir. You drive their vehicle and you go to school there and you get paid at the same time.
I see.
Right.
Okay. So what do you think about those programs Mr. Roche mentioned?
I'm all for it, man. Anything to get out of here.
Well, it's not about just getting out. You know what? It's about staying out.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're a third offender. And you got a lot of time. And if you are not successful when you get out, if you get out, you can do a lot more time. So tell me about your plans other than the hot shots business. What, where do you want to end up in life? What's your goal?
My goal is to be the parent that I always was supposed to be to my children, that I neglected from being in the streets all those years. And I want to leave a positive legacy behind and leave my kids something, to remember me by, besides coming to visit me in jail, and, leave something behind where their kids I have something, when I'm long gone. Just, and get myself right with God, and, just be the man that I know I can be, and want my good to outweigh the bad, and, probably won't be everybody, but the majority to forgive me for the wrong or the stress that I caused,
Yep.
being, part of recidivism.
Well, when you look at you on paper, it doesn't look too good. But I am pleased to learn from Warden Goodwin. You got your GED since you've been at his facility, and you also have the honor card and are doing really well. And you hadn't had a write-up since you've been there, so that's in your favor. I want to say I'm proud of you for that. I don't have any other questions, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mrs. Renatza. Mr. Johnson,
yes, sir.
You were convicted of distribution of cocaine. May I assume you're also a user?
No, sir.
Were you a user of any drugs?
No, sir.
What about alcohol?
Seldom.
So you've never been under the influence of any drug?
No, sir.
Well, how'd you make that choice?
I grew up playing sports, and I like playing handball, tennis, and ping pong and bowl. I just never was the one for, drugs.
Well, good for you. Nice not to start out with dragging a 100-pound load around behind you all the time going through life.
Right.
All right, that's all the questions I have. We would like to hear from your family members, whoever's first.
Just one.
Teresa?
I think she's just we've just allowing one person,
okay.
And that's his sister, Miss Johnson.
Okay.
Miss Morticia Brown was supposed to speak, but I don't see her in the meeting anymore.
No.
Oh, wait, she's trying to get back in. I'm admitting her.
She's on the phone to a moving car.
Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm sorry. I was in the chat and then I was out. I don't know what happened.
Well, what can you tell us?
Well, I missed I got the introduction, but then I missed what was in between. But you want me to speak now?
Yes, you do.
Oh, so my name is Martisha Brown, and I am the sister-in-law to Terrence Johnson. I'm married to his brother. I've known him since I was about 11. I'm retired from the Navy right now. And I believe that Terrence would do awesome when he comes out here simply because of the demand that he had to provide in the beginning and to survive in his environment. That's all changed since he's been gone these 10 years. Our family has become financially stable. So the stressors and all things that are in his environment, he no longer has to worry about. We own companies now, and while we can extend nepotism to him, he's ensured us that he doesn't want any favors, but unbeknownst to him that the favor will be to us. We have, it would be to us. We have a trucking company right now, and it completely aligns with what he wants to do. He could be in a CDL class within 72 hours of his release and earning an income within 30 days of his release. We have friends and business networks of a number of them who are on standby, ready and waiting to support him on his release. His entire family is behind him with this on his release. And I truly believe that because he no longer he doesn't have any stressors or he's a grandfather now. He has never met his grandchildren or anything. So I believe because there will be no financial issues, no other burdens. He'll be in school. I believe he will do perfect out here. He'll be excellent. We're waiting on him to come home. We've been waiting on him to come home.
All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Johnson, is there anything you'd like to tell us before we vote?
I would like to apologize. I would like to apologize for distributing drugs into the communities. I would like to apologize to my family for the stress that I caused on them for worrying about this time and will I make it out of, probably worse being in here. And I'm not perfect. And I don't portray to be perfect. I try. I have good intentions. Like, I got arrested at school this time. Even though I was doing the wrong thing, I was doing positive stuff like going to school. I took collision repair and I was taking my finals when I was arrested. It was an 18-month course. And I wanted this big time customizing car shop. And I just, it didn't work. I got caught up and got all this time, but the people at the school, they supported me and they still here for me today. But I'm so ashamed because everybody believed in me and I didn't believe in myself with the choices I made. And I just hope, you find it in your heart, I won't say second chance because I've received that before, but just another chance is all I can ask for. And, I want to get back to my family, and I've been out of my son's life for 10 years. He's 21 now. I never met my granddaughter, and I'm 44 years old. I'm still young, but at the same time, I'm not trying to die in prison. And I was young. I did what I did. I can't change my past, but what I do today will reflect on my future. And I just appreciate all you guys, Warden Goodman, for speaking in my behalf, and everybody who's here today. I guarantee you, I won't make a promise, but if I get what I want, I'll never come back to a place like this or just, I let go and I'm letting God navigate me from here on out, because I'm tired. I can't do it alone. I tried. And just, I mean, that's it, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Is the panel prepared to vote?
Yes.
All right. Is the panel prepared to vote? Yep. All right. So let me get this. Oh, I didn't even write the question. Hold on. Well, the judges. All right, let me get the timer. And all right. Get your votes in, get your votes in. Will the judges grant parole in this case? I say yeah. I say yeah. I say yeah now. I say yeah. Because you know what? When Alvin asked when he asked the warden, he's like, do you think he can get in the programs if we grant him parole? Can he get into the programs immediately? When he asked that, I was like, oh. And then he was like, can he finish all of them in 9 months? And he's like, yeah. It seemed like that's what Alvin want. Alvin like, yeah, I want that. I want that, warden. That package right there, that's what I want. That's what I want. So that's what it sounded like, man. But 44 with 40 more years, hey. But you know what? He only served 25% of his time. They big on making sure that you serve a good amount of time. But it's a lot of time he did get. It's a lot of time. So we'll see how they deal with that. We'll see how they deal with that. So get your votes in. Get your votes in. We are at the Wabbit Crime Network, waiting on the people to vote. We got 1 minute, 25 seconds. This can go either way, but they do like some of the things he's been doing. I don't know if it's enough for them to say, I'm gonna let you out, but it seems like they want to let him out. It seems like they want to let him out. So just that alone make me like, you know what? They want to let you out. I think they just want you to say all the right things so that they can let you out. I think that's what it is. They just really hoping that he says all the right things. I think they want to let him out, but they just want to make sure that he says all the right things. So that, because if he says one wrong thing, if he says one wrong thing, they back in yourself. All right, get y'all votes in. All right, we got 20 seconds left to vote. Get your vote. All right. Time to end the poll. All right, the poll is ended. We got 8 votes. Will the judges grant parole in this case? Well, 87% of the people said yes, they will grant parole, and 12% said no. So let's see what the judges got to say about this. Judges?
Mr. Roche.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, sir.
One question before I give you my decision. What's the best thing that happened to you in the last 10 years?
It might sound harsh, but prison, I got a chance to, sit down and think.
Well, I think the best thing that happened to you in the last 10 years is David Wade. Because we see more rehabilitation take place at that institution than any other. And the warden will speak his mind. He will say it
I don't know what's happening.
just like it is. And he gave you very positive remarks. Now, do you understand why I went over your rap sheet? I want to point out to you that small things happen over a period of time leads to larger things. And this time it led to a 40-year sentence at DOC. So remember, when you're in supervision, even the small things are under scrutiny now and cause you problems in your supervision. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Fully understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
My vote is to grant your request. After completion of a substance abuse program, 100 hours pre-release, and anger management. So you're going to the top of the list and take advantage of these programs. It will help you tremendously during your supervision. After release, you will have a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. You must attend at least 2 NAAA meetings a week. I know you said you wasn't a drug user, but I think drug pushers equally should attend so they can see exactly what they do to individuals who are drug users. When you get out of that substance abuse program, you are to follow all recommendations of that program. You are to do community service with disadvantaged youth at least 4 hours a month, and you must maintain full-time employment throughout the duration of your supervision, or at the time of retirement, you may notify your parole officer that you are retired. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Dranatsa.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Johnson, my vote also is to grant your parole to the out-of-state plan only. And my vote is based on the low risk assessment score, the remarks by Warden Goodwin, as well as your sister-in-law. And I do wish you well. We don't want to see you again. Good luck.
Mr. Johnson, my vote is the same as my colleagues, to grant your parole. My advice to you is when you go to the AANA meetings, pay attention and listen when people read the 12 steps, because never mind alcohol or drugs or overeating or anything that people use those 12 steps for, they're a great blueprint for you to follow to live a good, honest life. And I think that's what you want to do now. You want people to be known for the good things that you do, and conducting yourself in the right way is included throughout the 12 steps. So good luck to you, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, sir. Oh, boy.
Congratulations.
All right, Mr. Johnson. I don't know. Something seems like it's off. My somewhere along the line, it seems like my audio just is off. Let me try this. Check. Let me just check. Make sure. that it was about.
Look, I said, you know, I found me.
Okay, audio's correct here.
God.
On him to come home.
100 hours pre-release and anger.
So audio started messing up over here.
Getting a more disciplined life.
You know, we kind of.
Oh, I'm just checking to see what
Waiting on him to come home.
somewhere along the line, my audio went out of sync.
100 hours pre-release and anger management.
Right here. I don't know why. But hopefully the rest of my video ain't like that. All right. We're gonna move on to our next one. We got one more. We on to our last one. Actually, no, we're not on our last one. We got two more. All right, we got two more. Let me cue it up. Let me cue that up. All right. Here we go. We on the one before the last one. So we got two more. This one and then the next one. And then we done. And we finished. Okay. What are we up to? All right. Make sure you guys check out the Rapid Crime Network Discord. Check out the Rapid Crime Network Discord. We are streaming live trials over there. The YSL trial. Every day we're streaming that. And if you have a membership in this channel, you have exclusive access to that room. But other than that, the Discord has much more other content pertaining to crime for anybody. And whether you're a member or not, you can just join the Discord. Now, what are we doing here? Well, we are watching parole board hearings, and the judges are interviewing the inmate who's up for parole. And after the judges finish interviewing, they will vote and decide whether or not the inmate will be granted or denied parole. Before the judges vote, I will pause the video and let the audience vote by putting a poll in the chat for 3 minutes. Then I will end the poll and read the results, and then I will play the judges' results so that we can see if the audience and the judges were in line. So until then, I will be in the chat with everyone. But before we do that, let's get to all right. Okay. Now, we are on to the next case. I'll be in the chat until it's time to vote.
11:10, 11:11. My name is Keith Jones. I'll be serving as chairman today. The members on the panel today are Mrs. Renatza.
Cheryl Renatza, good morning.
Good morning, Alvin Roche.
Thank you. The panel is currently conducting parole hearings today by Zoom technology in response to the governor's proclamation relative to COVID-19 and public hearings. We choose this platform so that it allows observation and input by the members of the public. Our remote location is at Elaine Hunt Correctional. Would the staff at Elaine Hunt please introduce themselves?
Christy LeBlanc, classification. Robin Milligan, records.
Warden Hooper.
Thank you, Warden. We are ready for our first case, which is Kevin George.
Kevin George.
I'm going to announce
Have a seat right here for me, Kevin. Yeah.
have Miss Trinika Hills, who is here in support. She's the sister, and she'll be speaking on behalf of Mr. Kevin. And we also have Tanisha Hills, who's also the sister of George, and she's also here in support. But she will not be.
Oh. Yeah, give me that remote right here. Which one? That one. Yeah, thank you. Oh, hold on, give me that one. For. All right.
Thank you. Mr. George,
Yes, sir.
give us your name and DOC number, please.
Kevin George, 448-349.
Mr. George, my name is Keith Jones. I'm chairing the panel today. With me is Mrs. Cheryl Renatza and Mr. Alvin Roche. We are your parole board. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to read some information into the record and confirm with you that it's correct. After I do that, we will conduct a parole interview. During the interview, we will no doubt ask the warden for his input. And after that, those in support or someone in support of you will be allowed to speak on your behalf. Finally, you will be able to make a statement before we vote. Do you understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Good. We have Kevin George Jr., 448-349, a 37-year-old third-class offender, incarcerated for possession with intent to distribute marijuana. His sentence was 35 years. He is not eligible for good time. His parole date, January 19, 2016. Full term date is April 19, 2042. Does that sound correct, Mr. George?
Yes, sir.
Would you please answer Mr. Roche's questions?
Good morning, Mr. George. Before I start, Mr. Chairman, I'm looking at the master record, and master record says he's a second felony offender.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Roche.
Mr. George, you're currently 37 years old. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've been incarcerated for about 13 years of a 35-year sentence.
Yes, sir.
You just got back to Hunt recently. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And you were at Hunt at the beginning of your sentence. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I see where you've never been on supervision before. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just for your information, when we inquire to the legal community, the judge, the DA, district attorney, the only one that had any opposition was the DA's office in Orleans Parish. You have a low risk assessment score, which tells us that you might have a low chance of reoffending. I went over your record thoroughly, but there's one thing that really concerns me. And I'm glad you're back at Hunt because you have no good time credits. You can't earn any good time credits because of the act that you were sentenced under, but I see no programs indicated in your record. Have you completed any programs in 13 years of incarceration?
No, sir.
Tell me why.
Slow learning.
You're a slow learner.
Yeah, I tried. I couldn't pass over the 11th grade.
Sir, you underestimate yourself. Have you tried to get into a program? Have you requested a program?
Yeah, but when you request, they going by the time. By me having too much time, they put you on a backlog
But I understand that.
for the receipt of program.
But you just told me that you couldn't comprehend the information.
Yeah, but I tried.
Well, some people have to try harder than others. But let me explain one thing to you real briefly, Mr. George. Where there's no programming, there's no rehabilitation taking place. And without rehabilitation, you can't be expected to be released from incarceration. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about disciplinary issues. When's the last disciplinary write-up you had?
Property destruction.
Okay, when was that?
That was I think it was like in March.
March of this year?
Yes, sir.
Warren Hooper? I don't have that. That was your first disciplinary write-up in over 7 years.
1 second. My internet is being stupid over here, and I don't know what that is. All right, have a good night. But yeah, my internet is just glitched out for a second, but we're back.
In March of 2020.
Yes, sir.
That was your first disciplinary write-up in over 7 years.
Yes, sir.
Now, tell me what your job is at Elaine Hunt.
No, you in the cell all day.
He's in reception still.
He's still in reception, okay. So basically you don't have trustee status because you're still in the reception center waiting for assignment. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What was your last job at your last facility?
Cell block all that.
Okay. And how long were you on all in a cell block?
For about a year before they shut the jail down.
Okay. What vocational skills do you have?
No.
Okay, what line of work did you do before you were incarcerated?
Worked at a restaurant, washing dishes.
Okay. Is that the extent of your employment experience?
Sir, what'd you say?
Is that all the employment experience that you have?
Yes, sir.
And how long did you wash dishes at the restaurant?
About 5 months, 6 months.
And what was your job before that?
I ain't had none.
Okay. Tell me about your transition plan.
The what?
Tell me about where you're gonna live and where you're gonna work if and when you're ever released.
Oh, Baton Rouge by my mother's house. Keep your hands on your face.
Have you submitted a residency plan to parole and probation?
No, sir.
Okay. What do you plan to work?
Well, we're trying to get me a job at a little restaurant or in a little plant out there in Baton Rouge. Keep your hands.
Okay. Warren Hooper, I know he's only in the reception center, but do you see anything in his jacket that would be of use to us?
Not really. He looked like he was at Winfield before. I think that's the longest stint he stayed between Raymond Laborde and then he went to Winfield. I don't see any copy of the write-up he's talking about. The last thing in his record was from 2013. He is a low risk. Other than that, there's not much we can say. He came in right before the outbreak, so he's still stuck in reception, and we're starting to move some of those around right now. So some of those have left 2 weeks ago, and we're going to try to move some more out in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, Warden Hooper. That's a great help. Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mrs. Renazzi, if you don't mind, I have a quick question
Sure.
for Mr. George. Mr. George, are you angry?
No, sir.
Because that's how you seem.
No,
You
sir.
seem
Look,
pretty
that's
unhappy.
okay.
That's just your way?
Yeah, that's just how I be looking.
All right. Mrs. Renazzi?
So I just have a couple of questions, Mr. George. You talked to Mr. Roche about your employment experience, and you didn't have a whole lot, but was your job really selling dope? Is that what you did?
No, sir. I mean, no, ma'am. I was getting an SSI check.
For your learning disability?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you didn't see the need to go to work.
Well, I was trying to work. Like I said, I was working at a restaurant trying to wash dishes, you know.
Right. Okay. And so your plan, whenever you might get out of jail, is to get the SSI again.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think about learning a skill? The opportunity to learn a skill. That would do wonders for your self-esteem, and maybe you wouldn't look so mad all the time. You know, there's something in there you can do. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm worried about you. And I know that you've got family support here today, but I do believe, I'm glad to hear Warden Hooper say that things are starting to move a little bit more, because I really think that he has a program. I don't know which one it is. They can choose that's going to help you, so that when you do get out and go to Baton Rouge, you'll find a job that you're properly trained for, and you can do a little better than going to the restaurant and washing the dishes. What do you think about that?
Yes, ma'am.
You know, you hadn't been there that long. I know it seems like quite a long time since you're in the reception and you say you're in a cell, but once they get you processed out and you go through a program, and you might come back before me on a parole panel, I might feel a little different, but I think you need some more tools to help you be successful, and that's going to come through training. And they're equipped to help you. I know you say you're a slow learner, but they can help you with that. So I don't have any other questions of you. I do wish the best for you, though. You're on mute, Mr.
Who's going to speak for Mr. George?
I'm speaking for him, his sister.
Okay, good. And your
Good
name,
morning.
please?
Trinica Hills.
Okay, Ms. Hill.
My family is asking the courts just for some type of leniency for his release. We know he's definitely ready to come home and start being a model citizen with the world and everything. And as far as like his learning disability and all of that, I can help with that situation. He does have job opportunities out there. I work in HR, and I've already been discussing ways to help make his transition easier in the world. He has 2 sons that really want to rebuild their relationship with their father. He also has a grandson that was just born earlier this year. And we all just hope you guys can find it in your heart to just give him a chance and let us help him.
Thank you. Warden Hooper, you don't have anything else, I assume?
No, sir.
No, I say Warden Hooper.
Oh, no, sir. We're good here.
Okay, thank you. Mr. George, what would you like for us to know before we vote?
Well, I was trying, sir. You know what I'm saying? I just need another chance, you know. That's all. I was trying though while I was doing my time. I was trying. You know.
All right. Is the panel prepared to vote?
Yes.
Yes. Why Alvin seemed like he'd be ready to vote real quick. He'd be like, man, yes, let me vote now. All right. Let me get the timer. Let me get the timer. Let me find the timer. All right. And let's put the vote in the chat. Timer's ready. Let's go. The vote is in the chat. The poll is in the chat. Get your votes in. Get your votes in. Will the judges grant parole in this case? I don't know. I don't think so. It seems like they want him to do more time. One, they think he needs anger management. So he might need to get some anger management. Y'all get y'all votes in. Tell me what you think. We got one more after this. One more after this. Check out the Wabbit Crime Network Discord. We got some stuff going on in there. If you want to keep up with the content, keep up with updates on current events and cold case files, stuff like that, check out the Wabbit Crime Network Discord. Nightbot has put in all the links in the chats. We are getting ready. Cheryl basically voted before she even voted. She was like, yeah, I don't think you really did enough yet. You might need to do some more. Cheryl like, nah, I don't think so. Of course, yeah, there's suggestions, right? Oh, man. Suggestions. I was like, man. I was like, it's not even time to vote yet. Why is she telling them that? She might as well tell them, I'm not gonna grant you today. She giving them hints and stuff, little hints like, hey, based on what I'm saying, you not going home, sir. Yeah, I don't really think they're gonna let him go. I don't think so. It'll be real interesting if they do. It will be real interesting if they do. And the warden keep telling him about his mask. Hey, keep your mask on. Hey, keep your mask on. I said, God, warden, you're not even trying to give him a break, huh? Keep your mask on. Hey, keep your mask on. All right, we got 20 seconds left. Let's get your votes in. All right. So I'm going to go into the chat and I'll see you guys when the judges are ready to vote. This is our last case, so thank you everybody ahead of time.
Good morning. The Committee on Parole is called to order. Today is June 24th, 2020. The time is 11:42 a.m. My name is Keith Jones. I'll be serving as chairman today. On the panel with me, if they would introduce themselves, Mrs. Renatza.
Good morning. My name is Cheryl Renatza.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Alvin Roche.
Thank you. We are conducting parole hearings today by Zoom technology in response to the governor's proclamation relative to COVID-19 and public hearings. We chose this platform because it allows observation input by the members of the public. Our remote location is at Allen Correctional. Would the staff at Allen please introduce themselves?
Crystal Simon, ARDC Supervisor.
Michelle Harmon, ARDC Specialist 3.
Keith Cooley, Assistant Warden.
Thank you. We are ready for our first case. James Shasherie.
Shasherie.
Yes, sir. Mr. Jones, I'm jumping in
Yes.
real quick to announce the participants. They're all at one location and they're all in support for Mr. James Shasherie. We have Miss Shamika Shasherie. She's a sister and she'll be speaking. We have Miss Nicole Dubelshane, Teresa Shasherie, James Shasherie, Jamarcus Shasherie, and Megan Simmons, who are the rest of his family.
Thank you. Mr. Shasherie, could you give your name and DOC number, please?
James Shasherie, 4410-19.
All right, thank you, sir. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to read some information into the record. You heard us introduce ourselves. I'm going to read some information into the record and confirm with you that it's correct. After that, we will conduct a parole interview. Following the interview, in the interview, we may ask the warden for his assistance. And following the interview and any contribution from the warden, we will allow one person to speak on your behalf. I can see they're all together, so somebody's going to have to keep the other ones quiet while she speaks. Information I have after that, I'm sorry. Following that, you'll be allowed to make a statement before we vote. Okay, you understand the process?
Yes, sir.
All right. We have James Michael Shasherie Jr., DOC 441019, 38-year-old third class offender, in for distribution of cocaine and sentenced as an habitual offender to 20 years. His parole date was January 5th, 2016. His good time date is September 15th, 2029. And his full term date is May 28th, 2030. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. If you would please answer Mr. Roche's questions.
Good morning, Mr. Shasherie. How are you?
Roche. Good morning, Mr. Roche.
Good. I can hear you. Good. Hello? May I call you James?
Yes, sir.
James, you are currently 38 years old, right?
Yes, sir.
You've been incarcerated since you were 27 and 28 years old.
Yes, sir.
And you served 10 years of a 20-year sentence. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've been at Allen Correctional Center for the last 4 years.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what programs have you completed? I see where you've earned 375 days of good time, which is excellent. Tell me about the programs.
That was Living in Balance, Thank You for a Change, seppuku, pre-release. I'm a facilitator of AA. I'm a co-facilitator of NA. I facilitate smoking cessation. I completed safe haven class, OASIS, sexual and domestic violence, RAMP program, Primaholic. I have completed like 17 different programs that
Go ahead.
Oh, I have completed 17 different programs that have helped me to rehabilitate myself and make correction up on my life.
Well, you stole a little bit of my glory, because I was going to tell them in December of 2019, you were selected by the Veterans Coordinator and the Mental Health Coordinator as the lead trainer for the NA meetings, and you lead all meetings and facilitate everything that goes on. You should be commended.
Making the change, I had a drug habit and an alcohol problem myself that I have been working hard to correct, and the steps and the principles have helped me a whole lot. It's some useful tools that I can use whenever I do get back up in society.
And you've got that, so you're trying to help some other individuals right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As a member, mentor, and a facilitator, I give back.
Now, I see most of your offenses, you have 14 adult arrests, most of them are theft and drug related. And basically you were stealing to supply your habit.
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay.
Sir.
You've only been on supervision twice, and you were revoked once. So supervision's okay. Tell me about your disciplinary problems in the last 10 years.
I have one disciplinary report in the Fort 14, 2016 for contraband. Me and two other inmates were sitting down on my bed smoking a cigarette while Captain DeLong was doing her rounds, doing dome inspection, and she walked in and she found a cigarette butt and some ashes by my bed. So I was written up for contraband.
Okay. Are you a smoker?
I was a smoker. Not too long after that, about 3.5, 4 weeks later, I had made a decision to stop smoking. Now I'm a facilitator of smoking cessation.
Okay, let me share some information I have. I'm a former smoker. I stopped in 1974, and my doctor said 15 years after you stopped, your lungs become clear as if you've never smoked.
Like if you was a non-smoker.
It takes 15 years for your lungs to regenerate. So you're on a good start. Let's complete the 15 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you a trustee?
Yeah, I'm a we call I work on the Honeywell. I'm one of the Honeywell workers. I'm a honor card.
Okay. Tell me about your transition plan.
My transition plan. I have 2 jobs lined up. I have one job that's my sister. She have a painting and body shop that do mufflers, transmission tires. They do tune-ups and stuff like that. And I also have a carpenter job with J&J Construction. They have work lined up for the rest of the year.
Okay. And where are you going to live?
I'll be staying to my mama house, which my little sister is taking care of her. She caught a stroke like 4.5 years ago, and I'm gonna be helping my sister take care of my mother at 692 North Wilson in Church Point.
Okay, so that sounds like a real sound transition plan. You have a job and you staying at home and you're going to take care of your mother.
Yes, sir.
I see where you have a low Tiger score, which is excellent. One Cooley, would you like to make any remarks or comments at this time?
Ms. Parole, I think James has done an excellent job of explaining the programs he's been involved here at Allen. As you can see, he's been very active. He's also been an offender that is willing to work and has worked some difficult jobs here at the facility and done a really good job. So, like I said, I think he's done a good job of explaining what he's done while assigned to our facility.
Thank you, Warden Cooley. Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mrs. Renatza?
Thank you, Mr. Jones. James.
No.
I have to tell you, when you were reciting the 17 programs that you completed or facilitated your family, I'm looking at your mom and your sister and your other family. They were just beaming with pride. They're really proud of you, and I think and it's apparent that you're proud of yourself, as you should be.
Yes, ma'am.
So I just wanted to tell you that it's just written all over your family's face. They're really proud of you, and I'm proud of you too.
Thanks.
You know, it's when you've been working hard, and as you were telling Mr. Roche about your transition plan, it's very obvious that you've given it a lot of careful thought. Yes, and so I don't have any questions.
Yes, ma'am. See,
Mr. Shasherie, I heard you say that you had an alcohol problem.
Yes, sir.
I'm an alcoholic.
Yes, sir.
Been sober a long time. I got over, when I first came into the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, I could not say the word alcoholic. I couldn't face it. Now I'll tell anybody who wants to know. I'm telling you, I'm an alcoholic. It's the hand I was dealt. I can't drink like other people. I can't leave a half a glass of wine behind. Not interested in doing that. So my advice to you is don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of saying you're an alcoholic. It's helped me. It's given me strength to face that and not say, oh, I've got a drinking problem, or I just can't drink like other. I'm an alcoholic, and if you get accustomed to saying that, it'll be easier for you to say too.
Yes, sir.
Right? That's all the questions I have for you.
Yes, sir.
Now, who in the family is going to speak for Mr. Shasherie?
Jamaica Shasherie.
All right.
How y'all doing today? I'm James' sister, and I think he's done a whole lot to try to better himself. And I'm asking that y'all can please consider granting his parole for our mother and father due to their health conditions. You know, that he can help. My mother had a stroke. My dad also had a stroke and a heart attack. James would really benefit us, the family, and being there for us. He has spent at least 10 years being incarcerated. He has one son that I think that is, well, he needs to have a bond with his son also. That's in college. He missed his graduation of high school. He'll be soon graduating from Southern University. If he could be there to support his son, he would really be a help. Also, he has a job. You know, he did mention to y'all with my other sister, Nicole Duplas, and she's also here now. And we are a very supportive family. We will support James, until he can do everything that needs to be done for him. But we are there for him. So if y'all could please consider granting his parole, that would help us.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Shasherie, you have anything to tell us before we vote?
Yes, sir. I would like to say a whole lot, but I'm gonna make it short. After making a searching and fearless moral inventory of myself, it was then I realized the exact natures of my crimes and what I had to do in order for me to change my life and the way that I live. I had to face the truth about myself and the world around me that I needed to change. So I started making changes in my life by dedicating myself to these programs and collecting the steps, the tools, everything that was useful for me to go and be constructive in society. I would ask for y'all to find sympathy and have some type of mercy on me and grant me parole today. Thank y'all.
Welcome. Is the panel prepared to vote?
Yes.
Yes. Hey, Alvin look excited to vote. Hey, Alvin be jumping up. Yes, I'm ready. Y'all ready to vote? Hold on, let me get the vote in the chat. All right, let me get the timer ready. And let's go. Poll is in the chat. Timer has started. Will the judges grant parole in this case? Man, this guy here. Well, see, the thing is, he in there for drugs. So he hasn't done any violent crime. So if he can show that he understands his effect to society and stuff like that, then if he can show that, then he's definitely getting out. They were so happy with him. He was listing his accomplishments. So it seemed like they pretty happy with him. They was smiling, man. They had a good day today. Today he made their day. They were proud, and I'm learning some things about the judges. Mr. Roche was a smoker. Mr. Jones is an alcoholic. I'm learning some things. And when I think about it, I'll be like, well, Mr. Jones, you've been a lawyer, a judge, and somewhere along the line, you was an alcoholic while you was doing one of these jobs, man. Somewhere along the line, you might have drank on the job, man. That's what I'm just kidding. But I'm saying, we learned some things about the judges. Mr. Roche said he was a smoker. That probably explains some of the things with his voice. You hear, I'm Alvin Roche. Might be for smoking for a long time. Yeah, might sound about right. So I'm thinking, but I'm learning some things. I wonder what's your story, Mrs. Cheryl? I wonder what is Cheryl's story. Cheryl, what's your story? Cheryl might have an interesting story. So, prosecuted with guilty conscience. The thing about it is, if you've been through it, then when people come to you with the nonsense, you kind of see through it because you've been there. And when they're actually making some progress, you kind of see that too because you know what it's like. So having experience gives you a sense of empathy to where if a person is genuine, you could kind of see it. And if they full of it, you'll kind of see that too. So we got 20 seconds